Welcome to the Mind Your Movies podcast. I'm Ryan,
I'm Shane.
and we didn't start with a quote today because we're talking about two wild movies.
Yeah. One doesn't have any dialogue and the other one's all in Spanish. And I didn't feel like breaking out the old high school Spanish today.
Yeah, so we are looking at two stop motion movies that are pretty weird. So we're looking at Mad God from 2021 and The Wolf House from 2018. And my God, I think we have a lot to talk about here.
Yeah,
These are
two very awesome movies, very unique, very messed up visions of how to use stop motion, but in a cool way. I was pleasantly surprised, maybe not surprised, but I enjoyed both movies. They're very cool.
yeah, very like I mean, I think even when we were trying to pick stop motion, we were like, I think one thing that comes up with stop motion a lot is there's a lot of things like the Rankin Bass Christmas movies. There's like Coraline and Nightmare Before Christmas and uh Fantastic Mr. Fox and a lot of like kind of feels good stuff. And then it's like we did not pick that. That's for
No.
sure.
No, but stop motion has, I think, like a creepy reputation, like Nightmare Before Christmas or James and the Giant Peach, like they or Coraline, like they're all like creepier kids movies, kind of like it's got that uncanny valley, like everything's a little off kind of a vibe. And
Yeah.
these movies take that to the extreme, very crazy. But very excited to talk about those. We are going to talk about those with spoilers, so fair warning to anyone listening if you haven't seen Mad God or The Wolf House. Honestly, well, you can definitely spoil them, but it's kind of hard to explain what even the story of both movies are. They're both pretty abstract experiences, but we are going to talk about it, in detail with spoilers, so fair warning. But before we get into the meat of the episode with the two main movies, we might recommend a couple things that we've watched recently. Right, I don't know if you got anything ready right now.
Yeah, I'll start. I'm gonna recommend Encanto. If anyone hasn't seen Encanto yet, it's been out for a good amount of time. It's also like Disney, so it's pretty well known. But I, I just passed by it. It wasn't really on my radar. I heard about it, I'm sure, but just kind of passed by. But it was really well done. There was like every song was introduced with like a little vignette of uh whatever the song was about, and I enjoyed that. And also the house like moves around. I actually had no idea what the premise of this movie was, which is crazy. But I thought it was about a boy that could like talk to animals, and it turns out that's like very minimally in the movie.
Hmm.
And I thought the whole thing was about that, and it's not.
No.
It's way better than that, which is maybe part of why I never ended up seeing it. But it's really this much deeper story about the family there that all has powers and the house that kind of helps them along and stuff. And so really cool. The times in the house is like in motion and living are really, really neat. And again, those like song vignettes were maybe my favorite part.
Nice. Yeah, Encanto is a good movie for sure. I also enjoyed it when I saw it. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if I have that much to add about Encanto. I watched it a few years ago, so I don't.
Yeah,
But I
that's
remember it being
okay.
very good. Nice animation, colorful, bright, good songs. I remember it being
Yeah.
good.
It's also, I mean, it's tough with like, I mean, these are like, it's like a huge Disney movie. I feel like a lot of
Yeah.
people, like, it's a weird one to recommend because like people probably have already seen it if they,
It's
you know,
it's very popular, and if you're into that, you've probably already seen it.
right.
And some people are just not into like Disney kids movies, so
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
kind of yeah. But if you are into that, then you've probably already seen it.
Yeah, so I'm still recommending it anyways, just in case. Doing my due diligence, to recommend things. What do you
Nice.
got as your first one of your shade?
Well, I watched. So, as someone who really liked the new James Gunn Superman movie, unlike Ryan here, the hater, uh, I'm into the James Gunn DCU. I'm watching Peacemaker. I'm in. I'm enjoying it. It's very good. And recently, James Gunn announced that there's going to be a new movie called Man of Tomorrow. It's not exactly a sequel to Superman, but there was a picture of Superman and Lex Luthor together, like a drawing. Like concept art, I guess. So it seems like it's going to follow up with Superman and Lex Luthor in some way, but it's not exactly Superman 2. Uh, so I was like, oh, that's cool. All right. And then I saw, all right, what's Man of Tomorrow? And there's an animated movie called Superman Man of Tomorrow. And it's on HBO Max. And I said it's like 75 minutes long. And I was like, all right, let me watch this. And it was a very fun, enjoyable movie. It features a couple cool characters. I don't think it's a spoiler. I don't know if the upcoming Man of Tomorrow movie is going to be like this story. Parts of this movie are like the Superman origin story. So none of that is going to be in well, I imagine none of that's going to be in the movie. I mean, unless they do like flashbacks, but it kind of seems like they're avoiding that.
Right. I think they kind of intentionally avoided that, it
Yeah.
seemed like. So
And a lot of the movie, he like at the very beginning of the movie, he doesn't even have his suit yet. He's like flying around in like a sweatshirt and like goggles and like a beanie. So all that stuff obviously is not going to be involved in this. But there's Lobo in this and Martian Manhunter.
oh, those are cool characters. That is
Exactly.
cool.
And I think there's like rumors, I don't know if it's a confirmed for sure, that Jason Momoa is going to be playing Lobo in the DCU at some point.
This
So
is
this could be the movie for it.
that's funny. Jason Momoa is like the DCU's Chris Evans or something, where he's in a couple roles as the universe continuity doesn't really work.
Right, because he's Fantastic Four and then
Yeah,
Captain America, right? Yeah, yeah, I guess so. I think they're throwing out the
yeah.
most of the Snyderverse DCEU or whatever.
I mean,
But
getting rid of those Aquaman movies is probably a great thing. So
yeah, and pretty much all of it except for the Suicide Squad, I think
yeah,
not is
the
all
one
going to
made
be
by
going.
James Gunn. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe Blue Beetle is included in this
Oh,
new
I
one.
forgot about Blue Beetle. Yeah, that
Yeah,
was a thing. Did you have you seen
yeah.
that yet?
No, I haven't seen
Okay.
it. I might watch it though. I remember it seemed like it kind of people were like, it's okay, it's not great, but it's not terrible. So it's not like I am super, on the edge of my seat, like I gotta see Blue Beetle, but maybe I'll watch it eventually. I don't know. If he shows up in Peacemaker, if I'll be like, all right, I'll watch the movie.
Oh
And I
man,
think I
you
think
are
George
getting
Lopez is in it.
so that's amazing. You're so DCU coded now. This is awesome.
I'm DCU pilled.
You can kind of see maybe the appeal to when Marvel was doing this for the first time, right? Like
Well,
Captain
except
America, and you'd start to see
yeah,
all the other people.
except these things are actually good. Yeah.
That's
Also,
funny.
also George Lopez is in Blue Beetle. Love George Lopez as a kid. The George Lopez show.
Oh yeah, that
Love
was a
that show.
classic.
Oh yeah. I think I watched every episode of that show like in just on TV. Like I'd get home and I'd be like, all right, dinner, and then it's time for Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, That 70s Show, George Lopez.
Those are like the staples, right? I mean,
Yeah, that was peak. That was a different era for anyone like younger than us. They're like, you just like watch TV. You didn't watch like I Show Speed on Twitch. Like what the hell? You were you're not
Do-
watching Kai Cenat.
you're not just sitting there with Subway Surfer on the bottom of the TikTok.
Yeah, you're not watching Peacemaker in 60-second TikTok increments.
I did, I just learned about this that you can. There's like, not that people should do this because whatever, but
It's illegal.
yeah, but you can watch. Apparently, like people just upload full movies in 60-second segments on TikTok. That's
Yeah,
insane.
that's psychotic. Yeah.
Also, I've never done this. I don't actually use TikTok at all, but I'm curious. TikTok's in like portrait mode, right?
Right.
So are these like horribly cut or are they like landscape and you're just watching on this tiny little like it's like
Right.
a tiny little thing on your phone? I don't know what
I
would
have
be
no
better.
idea.
Neither of those
I
sound great.
don't I don't even have TikTok.
Yeah.
I'm too old for that shit. Stay away from
Yeah.
me. I watch Instagram Reels once in a while. I get to see some nice cute dog videos and that's where I leave it.
Yeah. That's
Um,
about where we're at. Yeah.
yep. But anyway,
Yeah.
Superman Man of Tomorrow, entertaining, good movie. There's the sort of main villain ends up being this parasite, which I don't know if that's a character from the comics. I don't know any of the comics really. But really cool, kind of like I don't know, like kind of like anime looking like creature kind of a thing. Uh yeah, overall I really enjoyed it, so I think it's worth checking out. And yeah, like I said, it's only like it's 87 minutes long. So, but still, pretty short movie, enjoyable. So worth checking out if you're curious about what the new Superman sequel thing will be.
Nice. That's awesome. Um, well, I'll jump in with a totally different thing, but it's Honey Don't, which is the
Oh yeah.
new Ethan Cohen. I know we both saw this. We already talked a little bit, but
Honey, do not watch this movie.
yeah, I actually liked it. I would say it's perfectly fine. Um, it's not a movie that like I feel like I had to see in theaters or that I like even really had to see at all. But I would say if people did like Driveway Dolls, which I liked it enough, right? I think this feels very in line with that. And so if you
Yes.
liked Driveway Dolls from last year, um, the new one is Honey Don't feels like a continuation of that aesthetic and uh, kind of just overall Ethan Cohenness, right? Like not really the Ethan brothers here, but of what Ethan is trying to do here. So um
Yeah.
I think they were both kind of just like fun rides. They're not like great movies. I think I probably have them both at like 3 stars. But I would say I'm recommending it mostly because if you like Driveway Dolls, I think you'll find this in a similar realm to what you might feel like for that. So
I agree with that. And Driveway Dolls and Honey Don't are both movies that did not work for me. Honey Don't, there were good parts of it. I thought Charlie Day was okay. His character is pretty funny. Uh, and there's a couple nice shots. There's like a couple split diopter shots toward the end that are nice. There's a little like montage that's kind of cool for like driving. Like, I don't know, it's kind of toward whatever. It's not a
yeah.
spoiler. It's a little montage toward maybe 2/3 of the way through the movie. But mostly like the movie felt very flat to me and like didn't have that like Cohen pacing that is usually really good and like really tight and like perfectly executed. Like both these recent movies that Ethan Cohen has made with his wife Trisha Cook, like they've been pretty shaggy and a little, I don't know, they just felt a little I don't know if lifeless is the right word. Maybe I'm being a bit of a harsh critic there, but it just didn't work for me. I'm a huge fan of the Coen brothers. They're like maybe my favorite directors. I think they have an incredible filmography, so much versatility, and uh, yeah, I just think that for me, Driveway Dolls and Honey Don't are if you include that in the Coen brothers filmography, those are the worst in their filmography to me. So I think I just was a bit disappointed by both of them. I like Margaret Qualley. I don't know that this role in this movie was like perfect for her. I don't know who would have been better necessarily. I mean, I don't know. Frances McDormand, I guess, comes to mind, but that's like a totally different thing because then it's an older character. But maybe that works better for the story because she's kind of like she doesn't use technology. She has her like old school little address book, and it's like Margaret Qualley's like our age. Like, isn't she like in her 20s? And this lady's
Yeah,
like,
maybe.
yeah, and she
Yeah.
doesn't use a cell phone. She's like, it doesn't have or well, she does have a cell phone, but she uses like an old school address book like that. I don't know. Whatever. That movie, whatever.
Yeah.
Didn't work for me.
Yeah. I think the one thing I'll say is that if I think for me the reason they both worked enough is just because the humor is kind of what I enjoyed, right? Like I think there's some good humorous moments in both those Driveway Dolls and Honey Don't, but it's a similar type of humor. So again, if you didn't like Driveway Dolls,
Yeah,
if you didn't like the humor there, if you didn't like the pacing and what it's all about, you're probably just not going to like this one. But if you did like it, I think you'll like this one, and I hope you have a great time with it. But
I
I don't know.
agree
I don't
because
have too much more to say.
yeah, I didn't really like either of them, so I think it's true that
Yeah.
you're if you like that previous one, you'll probably like this one. And then they have a third one coming out, I think like next year or the year after or something like that. So I'll probably have to watch that because it's the Coen Brothers. So I have to watch it at some point, but I probably won't be seeing that one in the theater.
Yeah. Although this is, I mean, I don't know. Say whatever you want. It's Ethan Cohen. Is it really the brothers? I mean,
Well, no, it's not, but it's a Coen brother.
yeah. And you still want to be complete in that full thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I just kind of feel like I have to.
That's
I
the
don't know.
spirit.
Yeah. Yeah, really ringing endorsement. Anyway, All right. Anything else I can recommend? I don't know. I've been watching. Did I tell you? Did I mention this anime series Initial D that I've been
No.
watching? Oh, it's a anime series started in the 90s. There's like six stages. They're called. And the third stage is a movie. So the first stage is like a 26 episode series of each episode's about like 23 minutes around there. And so I watched that, and the second stage is the same format but 13 episodes. And the first stage is really good. Actually, there's like awesome. It's so the idea is this kid Takumi is like 18 years old. He's in high school and he delivers tofu for his dad's tofu restaurant. And he has been delivering tofu for years since he was like 11 years old or something. And he turns out he is the like best street racer in all of his like prefecture or whatever, his area. And so there's like this car that people don't know who it is. Turns out it's this like kid who he doesn't even really care about racing. He doesn't even know about cars, but he's like knows the mountain like the back of his hand, and there's all sorts of street racing. So this is sort of like the first Fast and Furious movie, but it never gets crazy action. Like it's just street racing and like real life teenage relationship stuff. Like not necessarily only romantic relationships, but also his friends and family and stuff like that. And that's the thing. He has a really cool car. Well, it's not. It's actually like a lame car, but that's why it's cool. Because he's so good at racing it, but it's like not as cool or as good as all the other people's cars. So that's the basic setup for it. And the third one is a movie. So I watched that, and it was very good. It was a little crazy to cram all that stuff into a movie. There's a lot of stuff that this could have been like 13 episodes, like season two. But so there are a couple things, and there's one subplot in the movie that I don't think has aged very well, especially because it kind of comes out of nowhere and then is just like done and over with, and then we have to move on to the next thing because it's crammed into a movie. I don't want to like, yeah.
Mm.
Well,
Yeah,
basically,
yeah.
there's I guess I should maybe mention it. I don't know if you're gonna watch this. Now you've watched 39 episodes of TV, and then the movie is like the 40th thing. So
Yeah.
you'd already be into it. But there's like a thing involving sexual assault. There's a threat of sexual assault, and someone has to basically save this girl from that situation. And it's like pretty out of uh it doesn't fit in the
Yeah.
tone of the show really, and it just felt out of place and just something, especially because it's shortened and in the movie, and so it feels like out of nowhere and quick and not really handled as well as it could have been. So that was the my least favorite part of the movie, and the ending feels a little bit rushed. But overall, I think this series is awesome. I'm gonna start watching the fourth stage soon. It's cool. The car races are cool. The animation's cool. I love Takumi. Love his friend Itsuki. He's very funny.
Is the fourth stage also a movie or is that another
No,
series?
fourth stage is like a series, and then all the rest is all like TV series. Just the third stage, and then I think there might be like quote unquote movies that are like
Yeah.
just like compilations of the seasons, kind of a thing, like
Right, right.
compilations of races and stuff like that. But the main thing is like six seasons basically, but the third season is just a movie.
That's
So
pretty cool.
yeah.
When did the most recent one come out? Like, how old is this, I guess?
So I think the manga was originally written in like around the early 90s.
Okay.
Season one came out in like 98, I believe. And then two was maybe 99 or
Yeah.
2000. The third stage came out in 2001. I think the fourth stage is 2004. And then
Oh.
in maybe 2005, there's a live action Hong Kong adaptation, which has a pretty bad reputation. I am gonna watch it probably after the fourth stage. I'll
Yeah, of
probably
course.
watch it. It's on Tubi, so I'm probably gonna watch it. And then the fifth and sixth stages, which I think the sixth one is called the final stage. I think those came out around like 2014 or 2015, and now it's pretty much done.
Nice. Wow.
Yep.
That's like before final in a movie title didn't mean anything.
I guess so, yeah. Well,
This new
they
Conjuring Final Rites or whatever, there's no way they're not going to make another. Sorry,
last rights,
Last Rites.
right?
Right, right.
Well, I mean, that already happened in the 80s with the
Yeah,
Friday the
the
13th, the final
slashers.
chapter.
Yep.
Mhm.
Well, we'll see. Maybe
Yeah.
Initial D will get a comeback.
Yeah, Initial D is awesome. It's a
Nice.
cool show. It's like and also it's all on YouTube.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's cool.
So because it's actually like hard to find. There's like a
Yeah.
DVD box set that goes for like hundreds of dollars on eBay or something like that, maybe. So I think YouTube is the best way to watch it.
Listen, we don't support watching stuff on TikTok. One, because that's insane.
Well, yeah.
But two, well, I just want to say, like,
Well,
if it's inaccessible, right, you
yes.
have to find a way to watch it, right? So I hope that doesn't mean TikTok for you, but
Yeah.
out there, get out there, find the movies, find the movies.
Yeah, if it's difficult to access and stuff like that, I think that's totally fair game to find it in weird ways.
Yeah, yeah, it happens. Um, I think legally we don't condone that, but it happens.
Eh,
Watch the stuff. Watch
well,
the
they're not going to
stuff.
sue us for saying we don't think it's that bad to watch something on YouTube if they can't. If we want to give you our money to watch a thing and then you're like, no thanks.
Yeah,
Well, you did that to yourself, really.
right. Yeah,
I'm not going to get
nice.
sued for that.
Be kind of funny though. Be a hilarious lawsuit.
That would
Um,
be that. No.
yeah, it wouldn't happen. But nice. Well, I'll finish off here with mine, which is kind of a couple things, but I'm really only going to talk about one of them. But I've been continuing in my George Romero saga. Um,
Nice.
you could say I fell off the wagon a little bit ago, as in I stopped watching so much Romero. There was a point where I was trying to get through his whole filmography and then kind of fell off pretty early. And I finally jumped back in. I watched Hungry Wives, The Crazies, his OJ documentary,
Mhm.
and Martin. And
Yeah.
so I don't want to talk too much about all these because I think largely Hungry Wives, especially the OJ document. I mean, no one's going to watch the OJ documentary unless you're just watching the Romero stuff. It's not
Yeah.
worth watching otherwise. I mean, um, there's just better stuff if you care about that. But
Yep.
Hungry Wives, it's fine. I was actually better than I expected, but I still don't think that people are really going to be going out to watch it. So it's not really what I'm going to talk about here. But um, again, better than I expected though. Other than the Crazies, I think people might go back and watch. It was a little bit less good than I expected. It was good.
I felt the same. I've actually seen the Crazies, and I remember it being not that good.
Yeah, I kind of went in with a lot of expectation because, especially in his filmography, it's like before this he has obviously Night of Living Dead, and then he has uh There's Always Vanilla and Hungry Wives, and these two are kind of oddballs. Hungry Wives definitely starts to explore some horror stuff a little bit. It's also called Season of the Witch is another title for it. So it has some witchy stuff in it, which is cool. Ultimately, both those actually show a lot of his cool editing style back when he was doing his own editing, and that was really cool to watch. And Hungry Wives, even the intro scene to Hungry Wives actually feels a little like Lynchian in a cool way, but it doesn't really follow. Like, I don't know. I got my hopes really high at the beginning, and that doesn't really follow through. But it is okay. So the Crazies, anyways, I was like, this is gonna be the big one, like this is gonna be. But it was fine. But Martin, let me tell you, Martin is when we're back in business. This is 1977 vampire movie. Kind of in the same way that like Vampire's Kiss is a vampire movie. As in, the guy certainly convinced he's a vampire. And it's never entirely clear if he really is. So there's a whole bunch of stuff going on here, mostly about like, do we create monsters or are there already monsters? It's a really cool like gothic look at Romero's style. And the cinematography is really good. It's his first time partnering with Tom Savini, so you get some cool special effects here. Ultimately, the atmosphere is just like it's there. It's definitely what you're looking for. So I think anyone that's like interested in looking back at some Romero stuff, I mean, Martin's probably the first thing that you might not have seen that I think is that I'm approaching this with like, oh, this is actually pretty interesting. Like if you're into the of the Dead series, I
Yeah,
don't think the Crazies is really going to satisfy the itch, but I think this is cool. This is just there's a lot of stuff here.
nice. So did this come out before Dawn of the Dead or after?
Yes,
Oh,
this was before Dawn of the Dead.
gotcha. And then is there anything between this and Dawn of the Dead or?
Nope, Dawn of the Dead's next, and then Night Riders. So
Oh yeah, interesting.
Night Riders is up next on my list, but it is like it might be like 2.5 hours or something.
Oh, interesting.
So we'll see.
You'll watch it
I'll
eventually.
watch
You'll
it,
get
but
to it. You'll get to it. All
falling
right,
off the
cool.
wagon maybe again.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess that's that. I mean, I watched the Ang Lee Hulk movie. It was actually interesting. It was like people hated it when it came out. It's actually pretty cool. I kind of liked it. It's it's weird. The editing is actually like psychotic. It is like partially edited to look like a comic book panel. So there'll be like shots within shots, and we're doing all this stuff, and then there's like weird editing, like the background will turn into the next shot, and then the editing is absolutely insane. And this is like before comic book movies became very like sterile and all the same. And Ang Lee kind of brings like a unique approach to it. Uh, but yeah, it's a weird movie. It's a unique movie. I think it's worth watching if it sounds interesting to you. There's like kind of interesting themes and stuff, but it can also be silly at times, and it's kind of a weird movie. But I think it's worth watching because it's one of a kind.
Nice.
And
That makes
it's
sense.
and it's insane that he made this in between Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon and Brokeback Mountain, which are two like incredible, great movies. Especially Crouching Tiger. Like if people haven't seen that, you gotta see that. And then he just made this weird Hulk movie in between that is just strange. But yeah, so that's all. Just figured I'd mention that real quick. But I think that's it for what we've seen recently. Time to get into the meat of the episode. The Molf Gauss,
The Molf Gauss.
the
We were
Molf
really
Gauss, which is the Mad God and the Wolf House combined. Obviously, the only way that makes sense.
turns out that was the right way to mix these two movies. That was the actually correct portmanteau of these.
Yeah, we couldn't do Madhouse because that's just boring. We got to do the Molf Gauss. So I guess we start with Mad God.
Yeah, sure.
All right. Mad God, this was my choice. The topic is stop motion. This is came out in 2021, directed by Phil Tippett, who's a, you know, famous visual effects, special effects guy who did stop motion for a bunch of movies like Star Wars, RoboCop, Starship Troopers, Jurassic Park, which was not stop motion and kind of marked the end of him doing stop motion for a long time. But this is like a passion project that he had worked on for over 30 years, basically. He was working on this before Jurassic Park, and then he stopped for maybe like 10 to 20 years, and then he got back into it. He has his own studio, Tippet Studios, so there were people that work with him there that kind of like found out about this, like the fragments that he had worked on in the late 80s, early 90s, and they were like, this is awesome. We should try to actually do this. And they did, and it's a cool, crazy movie. Uh, for a basic summary, there's no dialogue in the movie. There's no dialogue at all. It's all visual and sound effects and music. And there's a guy, I think he's called the assassin.
Yeah, that's what the credits say at least.
Yeah. Yes. He's the assassin, and he is well, okay, we start off and there's a tower. It sort of looks like the Tower of Babylon. And there's lightning and the clouds come over everything, and God is angry at us. And there's a quote from Leviticus, I think, about sort of God's wrath and fury, basically. And yeah, it's Leviticus chapter 26, verses 27 to 33. And it's all on a scroll, and it's kind of hard to read because the font is weird.
It was so hard to read actually.
I paused it a couple times because I was like, what?
Yeah, I had to pause it because I just couldn't read that font fast enough. Like it wasn't a terribly fast scrolling speed, but I there was no way I was going to get all those. And then some of the big letters were like in an even worse font.
Yes. So
Yeah.
it that was that was a strange choice to
The
make
only
it that hard
time
to read.
the only time in the whole movie there's any semblance of language and it's
Yeah.
like the hardest to decipher language.
Yeah. So yeah, that is how it starts, and then we see our main character, sort of the assassin, this guy in sort of like a diving suit. He's got like a mask on, I don't know, and he's
Yeah.
going into what seems like the underworld, and it's this insane depiction of kind of like a hellish landscape. It's kind of a post-apocalyptic Earth in some sequences, some sections, and then you go below that, or maybe I don't know. It's really hard to understand what's happening in this movie. But he goes in, and there's all sorts of creatures, and he has a map, and he's trying to go somewhere with the map. And so that's some semblance of a story, is that our main character has a map and he's trying to go somewhere, and he like encounters all these hellish creatures and uh, monstrosities and all this stuff. And that's sort of, we're on his journey. We're on a journey with this character that is completely insane and surreal. And yeah, it's cool. It's spooky. It's scary. It's gross.
Yeah.
And it's really well animated. It looks fantastic.
Yeah. Insane. The movie really makes no sense. It kind of starts with this idea that like, this guy, like we're gonna be following this assassin and and then he plants a bomb, right? He gets to a place where he plants a
Yeah.
bomb. And so maybe we're gonna learn that he's like taken down this, corruption based underworld or something, right? I mean, there's all sorts of allusions to um like slave labor and the
Mhm.
uh you know
And the
ex-
slave people are being like killed, like
just
very,
constantly.
yes, yeah.
Yeah, very nonchalant. Every time that
Mhm.
something happens, it pretty much kills someone. They like roll over people that are shoveling stuff with a steamroller and stuff, right? So just continuous, right? And so maybe he's like here to stop this, but then he gets captured. And then there's a weird scene where he's getting taken apart. His armor's getting taken off of him, and there's like a laugh track.
Oh, is there?
Yeah, there's a little laugh
Oh,
track during
okay.
this. There's like it's like behind a
Strange.
curtain, like a surgical curtain or
Oh,
something.
yes, and there's people watching. There's like a
Yeah,
crowd watching him. Yes, I remember that. And the
yeah,
crowd is laughing at him. Yeah.
right. And it was very strange. But
Well, it
then,
is like hell, I think. I think it's hell.
yeah,
So it's like
yeah,
people are enjoying the pain and suffering and stuff. I don't know.
right. And then there's like a surgeon that's clearly looking for something inside of him and finds this little like infant worm thing, um,
Mhm.
like digging inside of him, crazy, and then
Yeah.
drills into his brain, and we get a flashback through the brain of this guy,
Yeah.
which was kind of a
And
funny way to show a flashback, but I was into it.
yeah. Yeah, it was very, very cool. And then we kind of go back to, and there's some live action shots, scenes here with Alex Cox, the director of, Repo Man and Walker and Sid and Nancy and all that. He's plays someone named the Last Man,
Yeah,
and he appears to be like, is he the creator of the assassin, or he's the
yeah, he has
he
like an
ge-
army of these assassin people.
right, and he gives him the map. We learn eventually he seems kind of like a, maybe like a mad scientist kind of. I don't know.
Yeah, or maybe he's a good guy and he's trying to blow up the indoor thing. I don't know. I
He
mean,
could be.
I have no idea.
It's very unclear, yeah. But he gives him the map, and that's the map that the assassin had for a while, and he was trying, and it was slowly crumbling, like as he went through the underworld. Um, yeah. So we get that flashback. I guess we'll just go try to summarize the plot and talk about it as we go.
I mean, it feels
Spoil.
it. Yeah, it feels like the plot kind of crumbles right around here
So
because
yeah, we finish the flashback, we come back, and now it's the surgeon and the nurse. I think the nurse takes the little sort of like Eraserhead baby type situation
Yeah.
where it's like a weird creature crying, and she walks, takes it. Also, the nurse and the surgeon are also played by humans. They're played by Nikita Roman and Satish Radakonda, and I think they both uh work at Tippet Studios, like they're animators, and they played these roles, which is kind of cool. Uh, because I have the Blu-ray of this, and I watched a couple
Oh
of the
no.
behind the scenes things, and so they're shown animating stuff and all that, so pretty cool. But yeah, so the nurse takes the Eraserhead baby thing to somewhere, and this guy, he's like floating, and he has like one of those weird like long nose masks on.
Like a plague doctor? Yeah.
Yes, yeah, plague doctor mask on, and he's like a floating being, and he takes the baby, and he's sort of, I think he takes the baby to uh the sort of mad scientist, alchemist, I guess, uh toward the
Yeah.
end, right? And then
Yeah, the guy that like, and then does the scientist like crumble him into dust?
yeah, yep, he gets like he gets squished. So he
Right.
gets squished into like goop, and then his goop is like mixed with silver or gold or something, and he's turned into like a,
Yeah.
a brick, a silver ingot, and then that is mixed with like gold dust or magical dust stuff. And then eventually and then I don't know. That Alchemist also has his own like little like terrarium world with like there's like beetles playing cards, and there's like I don't know, there's like these weird little beings that eat maggots, and it's all colorful and cool.
Yeah.
Uh
Very psychedelic first. And the music
yeah.
changed here too when it got into the psychedelic like terrarium place. It's the only place in the whole movie that feels inviting at all. And then also there's like a monster that comes in, eats one of the
Yeah.
people, and just drags it away.
It's the
Um,
only thing where you're like, "Oh, this might be nice." And then it's like, "Nope, this little child creature thing gets murdered by a spider."
yeah. And meanwhile, the Beatles or whatever playing cards, like they look over, see it happening, and just keep playing.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
very dark.
Yeah, this whole movie is very dark.
Yes.
Uh and then yeah, but then so he's sort of made into this magical thing, and then I don't know, something happens, and like he like creates a new world or
Baby?
something.
Yeah.
Is It's almost like 2001 A Space
Right.
Odyssey-ish. There's like also a baby infant like in like a beaker you see at some point.
Yeah. Yeah. This is, I also thought of 2001 here at the end because it's
Mm.
like a cosmos is built, but it also seems to be the baby is being built at the same. It's like the cosmos
Yeah.
is, the baby has the cosmos in it or something.
Yes. And it's also like cells and the
Right.
universe, it's all like just scale and it's similarities, which is funny because the Ang Lee Hulk movie starts off that way with like the universe and cells in like the
That's
opening
funny.
credits, which is funny. But yeah, and then also like the silver ingot looks like the monolith from 2001, and it's
Right.
so they're sort of like getting sent into space or something like that toward
Yeah.
the
Something
end.
like that. Yeah. No, that's right. They're getting
Yeah.
sent into space. But is
And
that,
then
that's the space of the baby brain thing? The
I
baby in the tube, I think.
could be, yeah, yeah. It seems like maybe, yeah. And then at some point, the bomb from earlier
Yeah, the very end.
yeah, it goes off and I guess ends the hell underworld or something.
Well,
And then,
who
well,
knows?
yeah, it goes off. That's all we know. It goes off. And then we cut to like black. And then we see, I don't know what this last image is, but it's like a guy wearing red on like a
Yeah.
stage, and there's a crowd around him, and there's no other context for it. And then we cut to credits and the movie's over.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a weird that's the plot. The
I
only
guess
other
that's what
thing I can
happens.
yeah, the only other thing I can think of to add to this for the plot is just that the last man guy, it's clear that he's like sent assassins before because there's like when the assassin finally gets to the place to put the bomb, there's like a pile of briefcases with that look identical, right? So
Right.
whatever is going on here, this guy has tried it a bunch of times, but
Right.
it really, I mean, we still don't. There's really no answers here on what's going on.
Yeah.
It's it's insane, and
Hmm.
there's but like that little terrarium world, and even just out in the world when the assassin's going around, there's like the slave mummy people that get just obliterated by everything. There's also like there's like a time when like a guy has a trap, a guy that doesn't have legs has a trap set up, and then he captures a little thing. He's trying to eat it, but then a bigger thing comes out and eats him, and it reminded me of like there's always a bigger fish, you know.
Yeah. Sort
Um,
of a yeah, yeah, yeah.
but I mean, I think that's really the big thing about this movie is that it builds this world incredibly mysteriously, but also incredibly well. We're like, we understand that this world one sucks, but also like we see some of the ways that things here interact in such a way that like feels uh like we are really being let into this world, like we're really seeing into it, which is really cool. The problem is
Kind
that
of.
it's well, it's gross and horrific, but the problem is that we're not able to understand anything that happens.
Yeah. I also understood very little of what was happening. But I enjoyed the movie. I enjoyed the
Yeah.
experience of watching it. The animation was really well done. I also enjoyed the sound design. Both these movies actually had really good sound design. Uh, and yeah, it was just a really cool world that was created. The goopiness of everything. I thought this would be a great movie. Well, I think just to rewatch, I think I'd get more out of it and maybe be able to interpret things a little
Yeah,
more
for
on a
sure.
rewatch. I literally just watched this today. I watched it a few hours ago, so it's a little like I don't know
Fresh.
how to interpret all this besides like I really don't know anything about it. It's like there's the Tower of Babylon at the beginning. I think that's what that is.
Yeah,
And
that
then
sounds
there's a
about right.
part from the Bible. And then it seems like somehow this horrible this is like hell or hell unleashed on earth or something. And then I don't know what the ending is. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, the animation itself is really cool, really well done. I love the color, use of color, and the camera also is often like these sweeping wide shots and we're sweeping across this landscape and there's so much detail and everything like
Oh, it's
in the
insane.
background there's like little tiny guys and they're moving and you know how you had to move all these little guys and all that and there's explosions going on in the backgrounds and cannons being fired and there's tornadoes at one point and like it's the detail and the intricacy of it all is really, really well done.
Yeah, it's insane how like this movie is made. So a little more lore on the movie, right? Is that it got Kickstarter sponsored, right? Like I guess funded, I guess, right?
Crowdfunded.
Crowdfunded, right? And and I think it raised something like $150,000 or something. Like it wasn't a huge amount of money, but you know, clearly enough to help make something cool. And it was largely made by like Phil Tippett and like a crowd of volunteers on, you know, weekend days. And it's just insane to see what they were able to put together with, I mean, you know, they're building this world. They're painting dog food cans to you know, they're gluing stuff on them and painting them so that they look like giant, you know, smokestack canister things, and everything, every little detail they put in really does come through to help make this world look more impressive and also more gritty and gross and grotesque and crazy, but it
Yeah.
works.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. On the Blu-ray, there's two little short there's one's a short documentary directed by Phil Tippett's daughter. For I think it was her thesis film in film school, maybe. And it shows behind the scenes of well, it's about him and his philosophy with the movie and stuff. And also it shows him doing thing like the real hands-on craft of it all. And it is such a it's very messy and DIY and it's really cool to see that. And there's also another one I think it's also done by his daughter. It's the making of Mad God and it features more interviews with some of the other animators. And you see a lot of cool behind the scenes shots of them creating the character models or making an electric power switch and like how they do that. Not you don't necessarily get to see how they do it, but you just see them doing it and you
Right.
see the behind the scenes of it all. It's not like they're explaining it step by step, but just seeing all that is really cool and just makes me appreciate how much effort and hands-on like artistry and craft there is behind this. And you can tell like it was made with passion and like a lot of skill and artistry. It's a totally like uncompromised vision of like what they wanted to do. It's like
Yeah.
we're not messing around. Like we're gonna make the piece of art that we want to make regardless of whether it's gonna be appealing to like general audiences. And I think it's awesome.
Yeah, which is, I mean, one of the great things about like crowdfunding and being able to do this as like an indie project on their own, and
Hmm.
also, of places like Shutter, right? This was distributed through Shutter,
Hmm.
um, and it's great to have distributors that will take on projects like this, right? Because uh, I I'm not surprised. I don't think this got a theatrical release. I know it saw festivals, but I would be surprised if this got a
It
fest.
might have got a small
Yeah,
theatrical release, but yeah, might have just been festivals. I'm not sure.
but it's great that there were like distributor conversations about it, right? Like IFC Films and Shutter coming together and making it a thing. So I feel like just the perfect storm of like between crowdfunding and like it obviously being his pet project for many years, um, letting this vision happen that's like totally unhinged, right? And
Yeah.
and like talking about no plot, I feel like not no plot, but very the plot here is very very tertiary almost. Like you really don't watch this, I assume, for the plot, right? Like there's some cool stuff going on, right? Like cool things to see, but largely you're watching this because of those cool things and not because of what they build up to, right?
Yeah.
Well, what they build up to in terms of the world, maybe, but not in terms of like the overarching story.
Yeah, the story is it's pretty obtuse, like hard to understand what's going on. Uh so yeah, I think that was my only reservation with it, I guess, is that like there are parts of it where I was like, I really have no idea what's going on here. Like, who's this guy? What are they doing this for? It was and that could be a first watch thing, maybe on a rewatch that's not as much of an issue. Um, but yeah, it's just a unique experience, and I'm glad I watched it. I think it was definitely worth watching. And I suspect that on rewatches, I would might like it even more.
Yeah.
Just because I'd know what to expect. Um,
Yeah. Actually, it's funny with expectations because when I was watching this, I actually kept expecting dialogue. I kept expecting to understand what was, you know, what the bomb was for, what this guy's mission was. What
yeah,
and then we were getting the flashback and I was like, "Oh, cool. Like I'm going to learn more and maybe someone will talk." And
yeah,
and and like I kept and so I think part of the immediate post-watch experience for this is kind of that shock and awe of like yeah, that was just 80 something minutes of pretty much just grotesque things happening and grotesque looking things doing things um in a really cool kind of phantasmal way that like really worked, but also I left it definitely being like, huh, what
yeah.
was that?
Yeah, 100%. And I think with uh with Halloween coming up, this would be a great movie if anyone has Shudder that you could put on at like a Halloween party and you could put it on in the background or you could watch it like you could watch it obviously you could watch it intently and it would be a good experience, but I think you could also watch it, put it on in the background and be like, "Oh, look at this. Like look how cool this is." And just enjoy it for the visuals and the vibe and not necessarily feel like you have to sit down and watch like you'd have it on in the background of a party and someone could pop in, watch a little bit, go walk, you know what I mean? And it would
Yeah.
be good for that as well.
Yeah, definitely. And I think there are like motifs in the moments of things happening where like it's clear that there's some intention of like uh yeah, like motif and theming here that
Yeah.
doesn't necessarily need to build up to this big plot, but like some of the things I noticed were definitely like anti-war, obviously. Like there's in the flashback piece, there's a whole period where he's driving a Jeep and like it seems like
Hmm.
it's maybe like World War
There's
II inspired.
there are a lot of cannons going off also, and there's
Yeah.
also nuclear bombs, it looks like, at a certain point. So I was wondering if this was maybe a post-nuclear apocalypse world.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And that
I forgot about the nuclear bombs too.
and
Yeah.
that could be partially why there are so many like deformed creatures, and the alchemist at the end has all these like uh bubbles and bulges on his face and stuff like that. So that could be caused by that.
Yeah, so yeah, I didn't even really think of that, but that's also another thing, right? It's just like nuclear anxiety and all that. There's obviously like anti-fascism with like the slave world thing happening. There's like production that was like a whole piece of like production no matter what, right? Like die to build the thing, right? Like die
Hmm.
to produce something. And what they were producing was nonsense too. It was like they were squeezing out
Well,
goo and stuff.
and there was a time where they are like these little guys and they're putting these big bricks in a row, and then someone just knocks them all down and smushes them. So they put
Yeah.
all these things up for no reason and then get killed. Like very hellish experience.
Yeah, right. It definitely does feel like hell, right? Like and especially because he does descend into it, right? Like um yeah, so I mean there's
Yeah.
like I don't like I really don't understand what's going on, but I do definitely see those themes, right? And I see those like motifs of stuff coming up. And I think even just like throwing it on during a party, like people would notice some of those things. Like there's a lot of shots show these motifs and themes that like even without understanding the full picture or seeing the whole movie, every little sort of mini moment you can get something from both from like the awe of what it is but and how it's made and what it looks like, but also from at least at many times that theming, I think.
Oh yeah. And you could also pair this with like albums and music
Yeah,
and in a cool way, I think.
right, like the sound design here is really good and really cool, but yeah, you could totally just throw on like some whatever your favorite sound like album is or
Something
whatever, you know.
something heavy.
Yeah,
Something like something heavy
Goblin.
metal or Goblin. Oh
I've been
yeah.
watching so much Romero and everything,
Yeah.
you know. I mean, throw on some Goblin while you're watching this. That'd be
Yeah, you
insane.
could do that. Or like punk music, metal music, or something, throw on some death grips. That'd be cool.
Yeah,
Yeah. But
yeah. I could. I mean, it. I think this is a very oddly rewatchable film because like it looks horrendous. Like it's crazy how grotesque the things here that Tippet can make are, but it's also like just easy to be an awe at and easy to watch. Still, somehow, it's like you almost can't look away from it. You know?
yeah. And yeah, I think it does have a strong rewatch value. I do think it could have used some dialogue. I know that is probably part of the idea is like we wanted to make this without any dialogue, and that is cool that they did that. I do think if there was some minimal dialogue, it would not have hurt my experience.
Mm,
I mean, I don't necessarily want someone explaining everything, but there are a lot of times in the movie where like, I mean, I guess everyone's alone. There are
right.
no real like conversations the only people who are ever together are the nurse and the doctor, pretty much. And I guess, well, yeah, and the crowd watching when they're like taking him apart or whatever. But yeah, there's not, so there's not necessarily like dialogue scenes, but I would not have minded a little bit of dialogue here or there.
Yeah, I think I could agree. I wouldn't mind it, but I also oddly feel satisfied with it. Like I'm kind of like I wouldn't have expected to be, and even when I left the movie right away, I was kind of like I said, I was kind of like, what the hell? But I feel like oddly satisfied with the fact that I know kind of something that happened, but I really don't. And I don't know. I mean, like part of me is just like, that's cool, you know. Like I'm,
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever felt that way. Usually when a movie ends and you don't know everything that happened, I feel like the natural thing is like, well, what the hell? I could have used a little bit more, you know, but
Mhm.
this feels very like avant-garde and like experimental in that way
Yeah.
where you're just not meant to get everything out of it.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, I agree. I didn't necessarily need more explanation,
Yeah.
but yeah, I think by the end I I enjoyed it a lot, but I did feel a little bit like not sure what I got from it on this viewing. Maybe
Yeah.
I'd get more in a future viewing. So it is really well done, but by the end I didn't like maybe I didn't like fully connect to it emotionally. You know what I mean? Like I didn't really care about any of the characters or any or the journey that they were on. It was just the world was so fucked up that maybe I was just like, well, what fucked up thing's gonna happen next? Like I'm basically desensitized at this point. Like, oh, these guys are gonna get smushed. Okay, of course they are. This is hell or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
so I didn't have like that. So by the end, when we're having this like, cosmic creation, weird, abstract thing, that is really cool, and I liked it. But I also kind of felt like because I didn't really understand what is this world? What is that? Like I didn't get that. I didn't necessarily get a ton out of it, and that's okay.
Right.
It was still like a really good experience and a cool, really cool piece of art that I enjoyed watching. But I just didn't like, I can't say like I loved it and like 100% like, oh, this is, one of my favorite movies or anything like that. That's just the only reason, the only thing that's holding me back from being like, I absolutely loved it.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like part of me like wants to be like trying to pull like I'm like did the alchemist was the alchemist because he seems like kind of a bad guy, but was he just trying to make a new universe that didn't have this post, maybe the nuclear bombs didn't go off yet, right? So he's trying to make a new thing. And maybe that's what the bombs are for, right? Maybe that's why uh the last man is sending down these assassins, right? To blow up what was left of the nuclear apocalypse, and because he lives safe up top, I'm sure, whatever, right? So I'm like part of me is like trying to piece things, and I'm like maybe this is and maybe this isn't it, whatever. But yeah, but I don't know. I mean, I think I can definitely see that being a big like yeah, like I don't love them. Like I'm not actually saying me, but I can understand being like I don't love the movie because like I I still don't really understand what I'm getting out of it. You know, like
Yeah,
it looks cool, it's awesome, it sounds cool. There's a lot of cool stuff going on, but like
yeah. It's a little like, and also over like 84 minutes, it is a lot of, I don't know. I think
yeah,
I'm just nitpicking. I really like the movie. I thought it was really cool. I'm just trying to maybe try to explain why I didn't like absolutely love it. But
yeah,
it's a little maybe the tone is pretty much the same throughout. There's really no like comedy and there's really no like I don't know, is there drama? Not really. It's kind of just uh grotesque and like disgusting most of the time. Uh, so yeah, I don't know. I really liked it. It's really cool
yeah,
movie. Glad I watched it. Would recommend it, and I could see myself rewatching it. Especially like I said, like throw it on, be like especially if you're like in college and you have roommates, you'd be like, dude, you got to check this out. Like, look, this is fucked up. You got to watch this, and like put it on, and that would be great.
yeah, yeah. I feel like also this movie, like I feel like this movie clearly will have a better appeal to people who, well, one, they have to kind of be into the whole grotesquity thing, right? But
Yeah,
two, um, uh, again, you have to be like into, I don't know, like I don't know, like it is a very experimental film, right? Like
yeah,
going into this thinking like you know yeah, like in terms of, I'm just thinking like in terms of recommending this to people, like it's not a movie. Obviously, hopefully everyone here has maybe seen the movie. I don't know. I feel like these are weird
yeah.
ones in terms of like spoiler discussion, obviously, but um yeah, like my thought afterwards is like, who do I recommend this to, right? Because most of the
They're cool.
people, it's cool. It's cool. That's for sure. I loved this movie, to be honest, but I I don't know how to sell this movie to people
Yeah, I
other
think if you
than
just give
it's just cool.
people a fair know what to expect, be like, there's no dialogue. It's a like stop motion animated like horror passion
Yeah,
project this guy worked on for 30 years, and it's like it's a cool experience. I think people could be into it for sure in the right setting.
yeah,
But I think also the movie, maybe part of it that I'm not like, oh my God, I if head over heels in love with this movie is that by the end, I think the whole movie felt a little, I don't know if maybe hopeless is the word, or cynical, or yeah, like it by the end, it didn't feel like there was a way out of the hellscape,
right.
and the ending is kind of like, so the bomb goes off and then there's like a random shot of, I don't know what this is. And then, yeah, I guess that's is what it is. So maybe that was something that I personally would have just connected with more, I
Right.
guess. Just because it is like you watch a lot of horrible shit happen, and then there's no light at the end of the tunnel. There's none of that. Which I mean, that there doesn't have to be. Like, I'm glad that Phil Tippett was able to make his vision in the way that he wanted to. And I'm glad the movie exists. It was definitely hard to get made, and I'm glad they did it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I think those are all like, I think that's a very valid thing though, to be like, you know, it'd be nice to not end the movie and just be like, yeah, well, that is depressing as hell, I think. Like,
Hmm.
what was the birth of a universe a good thing, or did the bomb destroy it after? Like, I don't,
Yeah, it
yeah,
was unclear. Like, did the bomb go off? Like, is it that there's a new universe created and then the bomb goes off in our first universe? And now, okay, there's a new universe that's gonna try again because this one's so fucked up. Uh, maybe that's maybe that's what it is, and maybe the people at the end are
the
like
new,
yeah, it's the new universe, and maybe it's gonna go better than the previous one.
or maybe it just goes exactly the same, just takes time
Yeah, I don't,
to
that
bring it back to
seemed
nihilism.
so based on I did look at Wikipedia to the like plot synopsis at one point because I was like, what exactly happened
Yeah,
in this? I was like, and I think there's something, I think I saw it on Wikipedia that said like at the plot synopsis on Wikipedia describes it as the new universe. We see it go through time and then that is exploded. So
so it's
so it
saying,
repeats. Yeah.
yeah,
So the new universe repeats the same thing of the past universe. And then,
interesting.
but I don't know if that's the
I'm gonna
like
be
only
honest.
interpretation.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm gonna be honest. Whoever writes that on Wikipedia might be, you know,
Oh
just
yeah,
guessing. You know,
oh
I
yeah, it's
mean,
just Wikipedia. That's just
right,
an interpretation. I
right.
don't know that that's necessarily true, but yeah,
Yeah, I feel like I mean I kind of I feel like I have to rewatch it to better understand, obviously, but
yeah,
my immediate interpretation, and I don't know. I mean, I kind of have a few different, but I think my primary one is kind of like that's a new universe that gets created, right? The alchemist is maybe trying to make a new universe, right? There's a moment where he like looks through the telescope and sees the bombs going off, and it's clear that he is maybe upset, obviously, at that. So maybe he's trying to make a new universe, but also the last man on earth guy is trying to blow up what's left of the universe, probably because he hates what happened, right, or something. And so it seems like the guy makes the new universe, and then it just happens that that's the exact moment the bomb goes off, killing everything. And my like maybe also that new universe, I don't really know, but
right. Because if it blows up the first universe, the second universe, does it exist within? Like, is it within the original universe? So if the original universe gets destroyed, the second one's going to get destroyed. Maybe
yeah, because it seemed
I
like
don't
the new
know.
universe was kind of in that baby's head or
Mm,
something, like in that jar with the baby, like
right.
2001 um but again, I mean, I
Yeah.
honestly have no idea. Like, I'm just
Yeah.
that's my I have no idea.
Yeah.
um
I'm glad the movie is, open to interpretation like that and can, you can have a discussion like this. I think that's
yeah,
part of the point also.
yeah, it's interesting. I was having a conversation with someone recently about weapons, and they mentioned that one of their issues with the movie, and I'm not going to spoil anything, we did just have a weapons episode if people want to go back and watch that, but is that there's like a lot of things brought up that don't have full through lines in terms of themes. And one of my things about weapons is that I actually think it's cool that it can be interpreted so many different ways. And it doesn't have
Yeah.
to be like a clear, you know, two ways to interpret it or one way to interpret it, right? And this
Yeah.
is very much a movie, I think, where like a viewer has to be open to those many interpretations because you
Yeah.
probably won't know what the hell happened. So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And I think maybe for me personally, when we're talking about like abstract movies, the far end is like a Stan Brakhage movie where it's like you put a bunch of pieces of grass and paint on a film strip and you watch it and it's like that was the movie. It was 2 minutes
yeah.
of random paint and it looked like a moving Jackson Pollock painting.
Right.
And
Yeah,
then
like yeah.
the other end is like straightforward, like I don't know, like a Clint Eastwood movie where he's like very it's pretty by the book. We're not doing any funny business. And I think maybe somewhere my sweet spot is like the David Lynch area
Yeah.
where we still have like characters and story, but we're going pretty far into the surreal and it's open to interpretation, but we're not completely off the cliff of all representation and stuff like that. And I feel like this movie's a little further to the abstraction than like David Lynch would be, if that makes sense. So maybe for me, that's why it didn't connect with me personally as much, even though I still really liked it and enjoyed it and would recommend it. Maybe that's just me personally. And then some people would be like, you think David Lynch is normal? That's way too much for me. So then if you don't like that, like this is too far.
Yeah.
It's too far for this. But some other people would be like, David Lynch is cool, but he's not as weird as I like. You know what I mean? So
Right. No Paulo Gialli, like just cutting shit up onto a film and calling it a movie, which I actually
yeah,
like. I'm not saying anything bad about that, but like it is a weird like there's like different levels to that experimentalism, right?
yeah, for sure. And so yeah, there's sort of I guess it's yeah. And I'm kind of that way also with like there's like with painting, uh there's like Francis Bacon or like JMW Turner. Those are like pretty much my two favorite painters. And they're both in that way of like they are representing something, but it's a little weird and hard to understand and a little abstract, but it's not just straight up Jackson Pollock throwing paint on the thing or a blue canvas and you just look at it and you're like, it's blue.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not all the way over there because then I can enjoy that, but it's just not my absolute favorite type of stuff.
Yeah, definitely. And this I think this happens with all sorts of different types of media, right? Like even with music, like there's music
Hmm.
out there that's like different sounds, and
Yeah, like
those
ambient music, and it's like a train passes by, and there's birds chirping, and there's like
well,
no structure to it.
even beyond that, there's like, it's like here's a alarm siren from like the 1950s, and then here's like a cool breeze noise, and then like here's some things mixed into the sound of like a train going by, and then it's like just cut and paste things in a way that to an outside perspective feels maybe very, very, very experimental, right? And then it's like, but there's also like ambient music, and there's also like I don't know, just all sorts of like genres, right? And the more into that experimental that you get, I think you do people drop off, right? Like in all sorts of in every type of media. Um
Yeah, I think this movie is definitely not for all people, or
yeah.
maybe even most people. I think most people would just general audiences would not like it. But if you're listening to a movie podcast and you're interested at all in stop motion animation, if you're interested in horror movies, like if you're interested in any of that stuff, like this is 100% worth watching. It's really well made and
Yeah.
it's just unique.
Here's my other thing about this one is it's only 80 something minutes, right? Like you're giving up
Mm.
less than 90 minutes of your time and you could have a really great time. You
And it
could
took years and
also
years to make.
right, you're watching 30 years of history in the making, kind of, whatever. I don't know. That's not how you say that, but you know what I mean. Like
Yeah.
you're watching
A
30,
passion project.
yeah. And yeah, I mean, I think yeah, you might not like it, but you're only spending 80 something minutes on it. So
Yeah.
uh,
And it's good to keep an open mind and expand your horizons a little bit. This is the type of thing where if You've never seen anything like it. And you know what? That's a good transition into our next one
Yeah.
because The Wolf House is also something I've never seen, and I really liked it.
And I'll never see anything like it ever again. Either of these
Yeah, unless
movies.
it's directed by the same people, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Should we do our ratings for
Oh,
Mad God real
yes.
quick?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, I'll just start off. I thought it was awesome, really great. 4.5 stars. First
Nice.
viewing. Maybe that'll be a 5 after I watch it a few more thousand times or something.
Nice. I gave it a 3.5 out of 5. Strong 3.5. Kind of wanted to give it a 4. I don't know, 3.5 or 4. But yeah, 3.5. Really good movie. Would recommend. And I'm glad I watched it.
Yeah. Yeah, awesome. And the rating recap. We've got a 6.8 out of 10 on IMDb, 92% critic score on Rotten Tomatoes, and a 68% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes, and a
Makes sense.
3.8 out of 5 on Letterboxd. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, right? That drop off there. Bring it to 7.6 out of 10 average. Um, yeah, again, it's not going to be for everyone, and that's okay. Not every
Yeah.
movie has to be.
Yeah, exactly. And the
Um,
same apply the same applies to our next movie, The Wolf House. This was Ryan's pick.
yeah,
And yeah, it is stop motion, but it's a unique approach to stop motion animation.
it is. It's by Cristobal Leon and Joaquin Cosina. They made it in 2018, but it's supposed to kind of represent, or I think actually at the very beginning it even says that it is a film endorsing a colony of people living on an island in southern Chile, looking kind of under someone's rule. It's obviously very like culty,
Cult. Yeah.
yeah, and at least Wikipedia says that it's inspired by the actual case of Colonia Dignidad, which is just uh, a cult thing that I spent way too much time reading up on Wikipedia because of this, and kind of crazy. It only ended in like the 90s, but
Mm.
anyways,
Oh,
um,
we can talk about that. That's clearly a important aspect because at the beginning we see them saying that this what we're about to watch is a film from the colony. So it's sort of a propaganda film about how what will happen if you leave the colony, the horrors that will happen to you.
yeah, yeah, and uh, it's crazy what happens, and the way it's represented is also just very crazy. We get that beginning intro where we have it's kind of introduced again as being this, it doesn't say propaganda film obviously, but it's very clear. And then it tells us that a girl ran away after she was going to be punished for, I think she let some pigs escape or something. Um Something
Yeah,
like that.
something like that.
And
She was
she
going to
ends
be
up
punished by like 100 days of
no talking.
no speaking. Yeah, so
Yeah.
she runs away.
Yeah, and she finds herself in this she finds herself in the woods running away from a wolf, and she hides in this house. Nobody's in the house. She finds two pigs in the house. Eventually she gives them hands and
Yep,
feet, and eventually they become human. And uh I guess, I mean, the next big plot point is probably that they eat her.
pretty much. Yeah, they kind of become like Aryan looking. Like at
Yeah,
first they
right.
look
That's
like
right.
South American, and then they change to like blonde hair, blue eyes.
Right, which is another important thing about Colonia Dignidad, which is
Yeah, they're
that
German.
it was German, right? It was people that, I think, my understanding is it's post World War II people that came over, um,
Hmm.
which, yeah,
Not
that's
probably Nazis.
probably Nazi. So,
I guess is that
um,
the real colony? Is that what it was? Is that it was basically Nazis that fled Germany after World War II?
it says post World War II emigrated Germans, and the place became notorious for internment, torture, and murder of descendants during the military dictatorship of Pinochet. So
Yeah,
I would say it's probably going to be Nazis. Yeah.
yeah, basically, or some religious fundamentalist, extremists, cult people.
Yeah. I don't, oh, Paul Schaefer. was the leader of the place. He was a
Mm.
convicted sex offender in
Oh.
Germany,
Oh.
and he fled for that reason. So,
Interesting.
huh?
What does it say? What year that he fled?
It will in a second. It
That's okay.
says that he left Germany in
The tension, it's killing me. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
yeah,
It doesn't matter. People can look it up if they want on their own time. But anyway, the movie, yeah. So that is basically what happens. But we're burying the lead because this movie, once we start, it's all basically paint. Like, how to describe it?
yeah.
A lot of it is painted on the walls, and we see the paint on the walls slowly moving through with stop motion, where like windows will slowly move from here to there, or we'll see one of the really cool moments early on is when there's the main character Maria is like painted on the wall, and she basically like melts the paint, like melts down the wall onto the floor, and then she slowly becomes uh uh
Paper mache.
yeah, kind of a paper
Yeah,
mache sculpture version of herself. And like this is the way pretty much the whole thing is done. And I just loved the experience of watching this. Like it was always engaging, and it was just so cool. You're basically seeing the process of them making this while
yeah.
it's happening.
Yeah, and they don't hide. I mean, there's like all sorts of times too where like the hand, like the arm, right? Like you'll see that there's like new paper mache, but it's not like hidden, right? It's like it that you actually watch it like roll onto there, and you
And
hear the sounds of paper mache happening. They it's
yes, which is
very
cool.
right. Like if you're
So they're
making
intent.
stop motion, you can take that out, right? Obviously,
Well,
but
it's not even in there. There is no like it's just put in
right,
intentionally at the
right,
end.
right.
It's not, yeah, right. So it's intentional that they want you to know that the process is happening kind of.
Yeah. And so like this is another movie where the reason I ran through the plot in like two sentences is because the plot here is really not the main piece. I think the plot here is obviously more significant to the movie than in Mad God, but this movie is again like a visual masterpiece. This movie,
Yeah.
that type of animation is crazy. It the amount of work it must. I mean, they paint over those walls how many times? Like
Yeah.
because they just
Eh,
paint it black, they paint it white, they paint it the colors of whatever it's representing at the time.
And I love the way you can see like when things are moving, you almost see the track of where
Yeah,
it's come from because they've had to paint over it. You can see the brush strokes and everything. Like it's really cool. I think in Mad God, a lot of the stop motion is so masterfully done and it's almost seamless, which
right.
is impressive and cool. But I love that in this one they emphasize the seams and the process. And there's a moment where Maria is sitting on the couch with the two pigs, which are Anna and Pedro, and slowly they're all deconstructed, and you see the cardboard underneath, and like they lose their paint, and it's slowly deconstructed, and then the room is transformed into something else, and you see the whole process happen, and it's just like so
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, it's insane how they transform each room in this way, right? Like there's the bathroom scene where at first it's just a toilet, but then it builds the kid on top of the toilet in paper mache. And then later on, the shower in the back gets kind of slowly collapsed in the background until it's gone and it's painted black. And then the scene is totally transitioning. And which also this movie feels like they might have been um going for like kind of the idea of like a one shot thing where it would like show you a door for a second and then it would pop back out or show you a painting and then the
Yeah.
painting would start to grow, the paint on the painting would start to grow onto
Mhm.
the walls and it would zoom out.
And it would
And
transition, like you zoom into the painting, and then the painting is now in a different room, like on a different wall. It's now on tile or something like that.
exactly, and
Mm.
so these cool ways of making it feel seamless in cinematography but still kind of there's a big dichotomy there between showing us the seams in how the movie and characters and scene is made versus not showing us seams of the cinematography, and that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's yeah, I love this movie. I thought it was awesome. I just watching was just such it really is so unique. I don't know that I've ever seen anything like it. I mean, it's crazy. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's kind of it leaves you almost speechless, I think. It's the mix of like puppetry and paper mache and painting and how in like how the movements feel very obviously not fluid, but like it feels so uh immersive still. Maybe even more so than it would if it did feel so fluid, right? Um
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah. And
cool. Yeah.
no, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say it's cool. It's representing like a fairy tale, right? Like it's a very fairy tale story of her mending these pigs to become humans, and then whatever, and then they turn on her. Uh, but it's also shown in this like very totally unique way, right? Like it's almost a story that doesn't feel totally unique, right? It's not like I've heard this story before, but it's also not like the most unique story in the world, but the way it's represented, it's like I can't think of anything else possibly like this.
Yeah. Yeah, it feels like a classic fairy tale, but told in a very unique way. The only things I could potentially compare it to is like these early David Lynch short films that he made, because he started as a painter, and kind of his idea was you can the idea of making a movie is that you can make a painting move. And so some of his early stuff, there's one called Six Men Getting Sick, and it's literally a minute long, and it's just a repeating animation of these sort it's like a 3D painting. There's paper mache involved, and there's these figures, and they're like getting sick, they're throwing up, and it just repeats a few times, and it's like a something he made in I think at AFI and like film school. Maybe it was before AFI, like when he may have been done art school before then. Anyway, but it's it's very like tactile. It's like stop motion, mixing painting and paper mache, kind of like that. So that's like kind of the only thing I could compare it to. I maybe some like there's also I think Jan Svankmajer, the
Yeah,
I think he's Czech director who did a lot of like claymate I don't know if claymation is the right word, but like stop
yeah,
motion animation with different types of yeah, with clay and paper mache and stuff like that. And I guess this kind of feels a little bit like that style, but yeah, the way they use the painting on the wall and seeing the process of it all changing was just like incredible to me. I was it's rare that I see a movie and I'm like, wow, I've really never seen anything quite like this. This is like a mind-blowing experience.
yeah. It's cool because this is also one that like it wasn't really on my radar before we started looking at stop motion movies on the podcast 2 weeks ago, and it God, I'm glad that we found it and then I watched it because it is like a wholly unique experience. Yeah, I mean, this is one where, unlike Mad God, it's like I do feel like I can just recommend this to anyone because even if they might not love the darkness of the movie and the themes and stuff, they'll never see a movie like this again. Like
Yeah,
I can be sure to say that if they want to see something they've never seen, this is it. You know.
interesting. I almost feel like Mad God is more accessible than this, just because I don't know. This feels even weirder to me, maybe in some ways. I'm not sure.
I think it's definitely weirder, but I think it's also more almost like anyone looking at it can appreciate that weirdness and be like, wow, yeah, this is crazy. Like, what are they even
Hmm.
doing and why does it look so cool? You know?
Yeah, yeah, I could see that. I think it was fantastic. I loved it. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, and it does get a little disturbing. Like there's a part where she like burns the pigs and there's like pigs squealing in the background, and that's like, oh my God, what's happening? This is fucked up. So that's probably the most like horror-ish it gets. Also, important part of the movie is that like there will be times where an eye appears on the wall, and there's sort of a narrator talking to Maria and saying like, I don't know, kind of like, why did you leave? Why are you, stuff like
Yeah.
that. Uh, and sort of like an all-seeing eye, like judging her, I guess. Or I don't know, something like that.
Yeah, probably the cult leader, I assumed.
Yeah, that's kind of what it seems like.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean there's so much here about like the power of cults and just the power of propaganda and also like the ability, from the outside how easy it is to see through propaganda, right? I mean, it's like how easy it is to see through how they made this movie, right? Like I think today we can look back at propaganda films and be like, "Oh, like, as long as you're not susceptible to that, right? You can say, "Hey, yeah, this was terrible. Why would they have fallen for this?" Right?
I don't think so. I think actually, if you took out the beginning of this movie, if you presented the movie without the explanation that this is from a cult, no one would ever suspect that this was supposed to have a nefarious message, even though
No. No, I agree, but I think because of that, I think we can see through it, right?
well, I'm saying it's hard to see through because if you just watched it, you'd be like, this is just a fairy tale, and it's like, okay, I guess it's the warning to oh, listen to your parents or something like that. Like that could be how you could interpret
Mm,
it as a fairy tale. I think, and that's kind of a thing with like a lot of movies do have nefarious messages that sometimes are maybe just subconscious or not even intended by the creators, or sometimes it can be intended, obviously. And but like you can watch I don't know, maybe like Top Gun Maverick. I love Top Gun Maverick. Incredible experience. But also, is that movie propaganda for the military industrial complex? Probably, but I kind of loved it, you know? So I don't know that it is as easy to see through propaganda as it is when it's told to us that it's propaganda. Because then you watch,
mm,
oh, you look at
right,
Olympia. Oh, this is Nazi propaganda. Oh, well, duh. Now I know because I'm being told it's propaganda. But
right.
there are things have that could be considered propaganda that we're not told that, and I think a lot of people don't see through that, I guess.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think, yeah, I think maybe what I mean is as like the like not being susceptible. I kind of mean like not being like I guess I mean like being aware that it is propaganda, right? Because I think that is an important piece to understanding propaganda. Um, but yeah, like if this did not have that piece at the beginning, like you said, I also agree it would feel like just a fairy tale. But when we
Hmm.
know that it is propaganda, it's easier to see through. But
Yeah, right. And I
yeah,
think it is pretty genius how the movie uh like is kind of about cult mentality and the way like propaganda can or the way art can be used to promote certain messages by like powerful people, but without it's but we just see the thing itself.
yeah,
We never see the cult. We see images at the beginning, but it looks like almost an idyllic, you know, rural community. That's how it's presented at the very beginning of the movie. We don't see any of the horrors of the cult, but we just through seeing this, we're able to understand this like fucked up mentality that's within the cult itself.
yeah, yeah. It's interesting because even I mean I didn't know it was about this Colonia Dignidad
Yeah.
before looking it up after, but even before that, like you could understand that it wasn't just about a rural community of you know random kind of German people in Chile,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
it's very clear from this that the that narrator, that eye bodiless eye narrator person thing is like manipulative and and trying to get this lady to see her, to get the girl to see her like sins or whatever, and like uh, still wants her to come back, right? And yeah, it's weird.
Yeah. Cults never want people to leave.
Yeah,
It's a
what's up with that?
thing. I don't know. I guess that's part of them having the power over those people. I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe the cult leader is seeing it as if the other cult members see, oh, she left and nothing happened, like, and she just now lives somewhere
everyone
else.
leaves.
Everyone else could do that too, but you want
Yeah,
to make it so that they don't have that option, maybe.
yeah, I mean I guess it's really just about limiting freedom, right, as much as you can, and I guess that's a fairly easy way. If you are a cult leader and you have everyone living on an island, you can probably just make sure they don't leave the island. Although that seems very tough, but whatever. I guess that's why you make propaganda film and you tell them not to, because otherwise you'll get eaten
Yeah,
by pig people that you make in the
yeah,
woods.
yeah. If you can control their minds, then you don't even have to necessarily, lock them up or anything. If they just won't leave. It's
Yeah,
almost like elephants, if they're like tied to a post when they're a baby and then they grow up, they could they could just break it, but they don't know that they can, kind of a thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's really, I mean, it's a fascinating movie for a lot of reasons, but I think ultimately, like coming out of the movie, by far the thing that really impacted me the most was just the way it's made, right? Like the
Yeah.
specific style of animation because it's so unique.
Yeah, I totally agree. I was like blown away by it. Uh yeah, I just thought it was like so cool to see and it looks like you're just watching as they're doing it, but like clearly it's all so planned out like perfectly. But it feels very like DIY and stuff, which is very cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's a good point, right? Because it's like with the feeling like they're showing you the adding things onto the arms and stuff and hearing the noise. They don't have to do that. In fact, they are doing that intentionally, like you said earlier, right? As a way to almost like involve us in that process, maybe. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, they're like emphasizing the process of making it as like an important part of the movie itself instead of
Mm.
just showing us like in Mad God, we don't see any of the strings. You know what I mean? Like, but in this one, they're intentionally like putting basically strings, which is sometimes they'll put like support like beams basically or like support cardboard that's like there temporarily and you see it or like you said with inserting the sound of the paper crinkling, it's like yeah, it's just emphasizing the process and the artificiality of it, but I think that's something I really enjoyed and I found pretty just amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's also like a million ways to read into why they wanted to do that. But I don't know. It's just it comes out awesome. It looks really cool.
Yeah, yeah, I was super happy to watch this. I will say, I watched this on Tubi, and I enjoy Tubi. It's about 75 minutes long. I think I counted 5 commercial breaks. So, you know, I think the Tubi commercial breaks are not ideal. You are able to watch the movie for free, so I can't complain that much. But I think this movie is worth like if you are listening, if you're listening to this and sounds, I mean, I guess we kind of spoiled it, so hopefully you've already seen the movie. But I think this movie is like worth renting or getting on Blu-ray and watching it that way. I definitely am. I think I'm gonna pick up the Blu-ray because the Blu-ray has some short films on it too as well by the directors. So
I was
yeah.
about to ask if there's a good release. It sounds like there is.
Yeah, I think there is. I don't know who did it, but it's out there.
Nice. Yeah, I might have to pick it up because it would be cool to watch what other things they've done. And I
Mhm.
agree that like I also watched it on Tubi and the ad breaks during something like this are kind of jarring. You know, it's like
Yeah.
all of a sudden some guys yelling at you about Patriots game or whatever, you know, getting tailgate food or whatever.
Yeah, gamble with FanDuel or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was just I was like ready to watch her. She was getting tied down and the pig people were about to go
Oh,
at her, you know. And it's
yeah.
like
And then
what the
they take
hell's
you out of
going
it.
on?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I would agree that you know, if somehow you guys haven't seen it yet and this is the thing that changed your mind, rent this. This is worth renting, you know.
Hmm.
I'm also a big fan of Tubi. I'm not huge on ads. I kind of hate ads, but you know, sometimes we live with those things we hate because they make things convenient. So
Hmm. Yep. Yep. And it's good that the movie's like accessible,
yeah,
you know. So hopefully people will check it out. I don't know. I don't know if I have that much else to say. It's sort of I guess the point of the movie is that it's supposed to be a warning about like don't leave the cult. This fucked up shit will happen to you. You'll turn pigs into humans and then they'll eat you, and then you'll burn them, and then in retribution they will eat you. And that's the cult mentality. They don't want you to leave, I guess. And yeah, I also am kind of curious, like, was the cult involved with the Pinochet regime? Were they like known about and like they've turned a blind eye to it? Did they like what was going on there?
It sounded like, from what I was reading on Wikipedia before, because I did kind of fall into a small rabbit hole about this on Wikipedia, and it sounded like the cult would take uh, like military prisoners
Oh,
and
political
political
opposition.
enemies and things, and take them onto the island and torture them and eventually execute them
Oh
in a
wow.
way like to, I assume, directly help the regime. But
Wow.
I mean, who knows? Maybe the regime was like, "Hey, we'll look this way if you do this for us," and so
Right.
maybe that's why. But
Ugh.
yeah, so it seemed like they were pretty awful.
Yeah. Well, fuck Pinochet, fuck any fascists out there.
Yeah,
Die, you're scum. Yeah. I guess that's all I have to say.
yeah, that was very profound.
Yeah. And also
Nobody
fuck
says
the
it like,
CIA and the US government for supporting Pinochet and overthrowing Allende.
yeah.
A bunch of fucking scumbags. US government is evil. Not that that's anything new. Yeah, I don't know. I guess
I
that's
don't know.
my
You like Top Gun Maverick? I mean,
it was a good movie. They flew airplanes real fast. It was
uh,
they were going real fast, dude. Did you see that? They're like really fast.
really fast airplanes.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, no, I mean, I think one of the interesting things about this movie, both these movies, really, is that in a way, I mean, we did end up talking a lot about them because there is a lot to say, but also in a way, because they're so visually appealing and like that's the
Yeah.
main thing here, it's really hard to talk around that because it's one of these things where like I mean I think it's kind of a silly phrase, but like you just have to see it, like I think once you've anyone that's seen this movie, hopefully if you guys watched a couple weeks ago and you joined us, you prepared and watched these to join us, and maybe got you out of your comfort zone and maybe you kind of left being like, did I enjoy that? I don't know. Or maybe you left loving it or hating it or whatever, but you kind of saw the stuff that we saw, and I feel like it's kind of
Yeah.
hard to break it down
It,
because there's just the art is really what we enjoyed.
yeah, and when you're getting to this type of like kind of avant-garde cinema, it is a little bit like if you go to a museum and you are looking at paintings and you can't necessarily podcast about that, be like, I mean, you can, like, there are things to talk about, but it can be hard to describe, I guess,
Right.
that type of experience with like a piece of visual art.
Yeah. I will say one thing is that this was a pretty awesome set of like I don't think I watched anything in between these. I think I watched uh one Friday night and then one yesterday night, and it's Sunday. So I don't think I
Yep.
saw anything in between them. And so in a way, it's kind of a double feature, extended
Yeah.
double feature.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think this is a pretty awesome these two
Yeah.
movies. If anyone out there like didn't decide to watch one of them for some reason, uh, and you liked one of them, like watch the other two. I mean, not that they're
Yeah.
exactly like you'll like one if you like the other, but they are a pretty cool pairing for sure.
Yeah. Definitely. Definitely. They're both short. They're unique. Yeah, I would definitely recommend them. I don't know if I have anything else to say about them. Also, I think it's hard to talk about these movies on a first viewing. Like I just watched Mad God today, watched Wolf House yesterday, so it's a little like fresh. It's good that it's fresh in my mind, but also a little bit is like you see it, you're like mind blown a little bit, and then now we're supposed to talk about it on a podcast. It's a little easier. Like the Holy Mountain is a perfect example where
Yeah, right.
you saw it for the first time and you were kind of like, I don't know what the hell happened. That was crazy. And I was like, I've seen this a few times. I know the ropes a little bit, so it was a little easier to talk about. But now this time we both watched these for the first time, so we're a little out to sea,
Yeah.
which is cool. It was a great experience. I loved watching.
Yeah, I mean, again, this is one of the cool things, in my opinion, about doing the podcast. And I hope that people that follow the podcast and do it, they watch them episodes so that they can join us for the next one. I hope that you guys feel the same way about just being able to like get out of your comfort zone or just try like watch something you've heard of, but it's been on your list for a while or that you haven't heard of. For me, Mad God had been on my list for a while. I never ended up watching it. Wolf House was just on my list because we talked about it. And that was the first time I heard about it. So I think for me, it's a really fun experience to be able to uh, you know, breach those norms of what I kind of normally sit down to watch.
Yeah. That's part of the thing with the category cup too, is we put a bunch
Yeah.
of random stuff in there and then we get just random, who knows what's going to be next. Speaking of, are we all set with the Wolf House? Should we do our ratings and a rating recap and finish
Yeah,
up?
I think we should.
I
Uh
love the Wolf House. I gave it a 4.5 out of 5. It was great. I really enjoyed it. I don't know, maybe just on a rewatch would be all that I needed to bump it up to 5 stars. But I thought it was a great experience, one of a kind movie. Loved it.
Yeah, I totally agree. Although I bumped it right up to the 5 right away. I was like,
Oh, nice.
these are both movies that I did have to like I slept on and then I wrote the review a little bit late. I had no idea what to say right away. I was like, whoa,
Hmm.
but I think after thinking about it a little bit, I was like, yeah, this was awesome. I'll this was it's so unique and it feels meaningful in different ways that I can't fully put my finger on all the time, but like
Hmm.
just the fact that it looks so impressive and unique and cool and almost it looks almost like they messed up by showing us all these things, but that kind of makes it awesome. So
Yeah. And
um
I think
yeah.
I might have been able to connect with this a little easier because Maria is a character with a name. And also like she watches TV with the pigs and she has empathy for the pigs, she's trying like it's a little easier to connect with it emotionally than Mad God. So
Yeah.
that might be part of the reason that I really enjoyed it. And I just thought the visual style was incredible.
Yeah. I mean, I think I agree ultimately on like why, because I gave this one higher than Mad God also, and
Mm,
I think I agree that like I definitely connected better with this one. I
mm.
mean, having having that narrative structure helped for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, uh, in terms of the recap, we've got 7.5 out of 10 on IMDb, 96% critic score on Rotten Tomatoes, 79% audience score. So we still see that drop here too.
Mm.
4.1 out of 5 on Letterboxd, bringing it to an 8.3 out of 10 average. So every single one of those metrics was higher than Mad God. Not that it's necessarily a comparison, but just kind of
Yeah.
interesting to look at. But it does still have that same type of drop, right? Where the audience might,
I
yeah.
I'm also thinking Mad God. I think did it only have like 62% audience on Rotten Tomatoes?
Yeah,
Was that it?
68. Yep.
Oh, 68%. I wonder because uh the Wolf House, so it has 68,000 views on Letterboxd, which obviously Letterboxd is a particular community, so that's going to
Right.
be like not necessarily representative of a general audience. But looking at Mad God, it has 163,000, and it was also on Shudder. So
Right.
I imagine there may have been a little bit broader reach for Mad God, and there might have been some people on Shudder that are like horror movie fans, and they're like, "Oh, this looks cool," and then they watched it and they're like, "What the hell was this?" And they didn't necessarily like it as much. So I imagine the Wolf House, like if more people saw it, maybe the score would also even like lower a little bit because I think the people that are watching the Wolf House are people like us who are like, this looks cool, and they check it out and they because they want to, you know?
Yeah. I agree in a way. Mad God's kind of deceptive in that way because it's not necessarily advertised as being like a relatively plotless, dialogueless thing.
Hmm.
It just is advertised as like this cool stop motion fantasy post-apocalyptic thing. Um,
Hmm.
and so if you go in expecting a narrative structure and a lot of, that stuff, yeah, you're gonna be like, what? And
Yeah.
this one, I don't think, I think even if you just look at like the backdrops or like I think the posters for this and stuff, it's very clear that this is like a weird movie. It's not like someone's going to accidentally click this on Tubi. Whereas on
Hmm.
Shutter, you can be browsing Shutter, you see Mad God, and you're like, whoa, that looks cool.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, so totally.
So yeah, all right. I guess that's that. Great episode. I oh we you froze for a second. Are you in?
Yeah, I think we're good. Yep.
All right, cool. We had a little scare there, but we're good. Still recording.
Yep.
All
We
right.
are we're good
Yeah,
to
it says
lift
it says we're
off with the
recording. All right.
category cup.
The category cup is coming out. That's right. So this is episode 26. So that means our next episode will be episode 27, the first episode of our second year of the podcast.
Wow, this is wow, the end of our first year.
Yeah, season 2 coming
Yeah,
in two
season
weeks.
two. Yeah, what a crazy way to end the first year.
Yeah, ending with a bang.
Yeah.
All right, I pulled out our next category. The next category is what a way to start season 2. To be originals. That's right. This is Ryan's fault. To be originals, the category in the cup I've been dreading the most. We have so many good categories in here. You know, we could have gotten Denzel Washington movies. We could have just gotten maybe like the 90s. We could have watched a great movie. But instead, Ryan has chosen to put to be originals in the category cup. And that's right, we'll be picking 2 movies that are to be originals. Kind
You
of
know,
funny that we talked a good amount about to be just now.
I will say, the bottom 250 list was also mine. Or bottom
Mm,
250 entry was also
yeah.
mine. I feel like, sometimes you gotta spice it up. You can't always
I,
um I don't know.
so this is funny because I have specifically prepared for this topic because I when I saw this was in there, I was like, there's going to be a lot of things I don't want to watch. So I went through and I found a couple of options that I thought looked good. And I have them somewhere on here. I'm going to find them and I'm going to probably pick one of those. And it's also a little bit hard to find like Tubi originals. I
Yeah.
don't know that it's like the easiest to find. Do you have the Tubi app on your phone right there?
No, I have a list on Letterboxd also to
Okay,
prepare.
great. Oh,
Yep.
okay. Perfect. So we're both
Yep.
prepared.
We listen, this was not one that I wanted to go into blind, I mean,
Yeah.
there's uh a lot of to be original stuff out there.
Yeah. You know, it's funny because I'm just trying to. Oh, there we go. There's the list. All right. To be originals. I will say, this will definitely be something I've never seen before because I don't think I've ever watched a to be original.
Uh no offense, but why would you?
I guess that's a fair point. I think do we have Netflix originals in here also?
We probably do.
I think we do, but Netflix, there are good
Yeah. There's
Netflix
good stuff to
originals,
watch.
like because Netflix will pick up independently produced movies that are like really good
Yeah.
sometimes. All right. I think I have 3 options that I thought looked good.
What do you
Should I?
got? Go for it.
One of them is called Accused. It's
Yeah.
appears to be some sort of a guy on the run. There's a witch hunt. Looks like it might be interesting. It's actually the guy. Oh wow. It's the guy who did Adolescence on Netflix, the TV
Oh,
show. Yeah, the director. And then something called Aisha, Aisha.
that one's on my list. Hey, look at
There you
that.
go. Looks it has Letitia Wright and Josh O'Connor in it, and looks like it could be an interesting movie. Looks maybe a little bit more of a serious drama. And then my third option, which looks kind of fun, it's called Slay. Do you know Slay?
No, hang on. Let me look.
Well, let me read the letterbox
Okay.
description for you. After a booking mistake, 4 drag queens find themselves performing for a mostly unwelcoming crowd. But when vampires attack, the crowd looks to the queens to save the day.
That's insane. How is
Yeah,
that not on my list? That sounds awesome.
it has a 3.3 average rating on Letterboxd. I mean,
That's not bad.
uh, we some of the stars of the movie include Trinity the Tuck, Heidi and Closet, Crystal Method, and Caramel, and also Danya Cash, I guess, which I think is a drag queen name. Also Neil Sandylands, but I think that's just his real name. But yeah, so that one is seems like a strong option.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, just came out last year, 2024. So I think Slay or Accused are probably top of my list.
there's a lot of bad horror stuff on here, but one that's not that is the Raid, but not the Raid. The Raid.
Not the good, the raid.
That's probably that one. Surprisingly, has a 3.6 average rating on Letterboxd.
Wow.
Definitely the highest on my list here because the other things include things like uh, She Came from the Woods, Satan Wants You, and Killer Body Count.
I see killer body count here.
I also have Festival of the Living Dead on my list, mostly because I think it'd be funny to add to my of the dead list.
Mm.
Um,
There's
but
also a movie called Cinnamon that looks like it could be interesting, but I don't know that it would be one of my picks above Slay or Accused.
Cinnamon. Oh, I see Cinnamon.
Interesting. I don't see the raid on my list here.
It might be
But
called uh Moru. The poster
oh,
says Moru.
yeah. That's because if I sort this by average rating. So shout out to Ivy on Letterboxd, who created a To Be Originals list with 300 movies on it, and that's what I'm using.
Insane.
So shout out to Ivy, the real To Be head. Oh yeah, the Raid, aka Muru. Interesting.
Yeah, that one's high on my. I mean, that's one that I threw onto my
Mm,
list at one point, and noticing how high the average rating is does make me
yeah,
kind of want to pick that because it might be the only thing that doesn't uh
yeah.
stink.
This actually looks good.
Yeah. I could also do Shark Side of the Moon. I have now gone to this Ivy list and I'm seeing the rest of the stuff that's on here. Terror Train, a remake.
Don't pick
That
that.
can't be good.
Yeah, don't pick that. Wow, the lowest rated on Ivy's list
Oh yeah,
is
dude.
Titanic 666.
Wait, have oh my god, wait, having a list where I can just sort by because my list is like 7 movies.
Yeah,
Wait,
this
hold
one I'm
on.
just
Short,
sort.
shortest first.
Yep, there's a way to do it.
Oh, these look awful.
Yeah, you don't want to pick shortest first.
Yeah, I think I might just go with the Raid slash Moru just to
Yeah,
not spend time looking at this 300 list. I already have 7 that I picked out at one point,
yeah,
and the best one by far seems like Moru. So
yeah. That one looks good. I will say, Accused did pique my interest. It looked. I think there's that movie that just came out called Relay, and there was also like The Amateur that came out recently. I feel like there's. I don't know. Like it's kind of a common thing. It doesn't feel as unique as Slay, which Slay
yeah,
looks like a one of a kind movie. So I think Muru slash The Raid, and I mean it kind of sucks that The Raid, like there's already a movie called The Raid that's very
yeah.
iconic. Did you have to call it The Raid? Like I don't know. Well, whatever. It's
I
fine.
mean, yeah, Moru is also a name for it, right?
Yeah,
So that
Muru.
works.
Yeah, I guess it's a New Zealand, maybe a Maori,
Yeah,
Maori. Is that how you say it? Maori. Uh,
I thought Maori,
word.
but I could be wrong.
I'm not sure. Well, you know what? We're gonna
We'll
watch it,
learn.
so I'll look it up,
We'll
and
learn.
yeah. So that will also be a crazy tone
Yeah,
switch, Slay and Muru, because Muru seems like a pretty serious like movie.
insane. We've
Also,
got
what the hell do we just call it? The Slay, the Slade.
the Slade. Yeah, Slay apostrophe D.
Yeah, the Slade. I like it.
The Slade. Excellent. That
You know
works.
what? To Be Originals might be fun.
I think here's my thought, right? Is like there's a lot of garbage on Tubi, I'm sure. But we're not picking the garbage of the garbage, We're
Yeah.
picking stuff that could actually be good. So
Yeah, these could be diamonds in the rough, hidden gems. I think there's actually some good potential with these movies.
widely accessible for everyone to join us on.
Yeah, that's a great thing where anyone can watch these. Is there anything else to talk about on the episode? Our next episode. Well, next episode we're gonna do a little We're going to talk about our most anticipated movies of the fall slash winter of 2025 slash 2026. So that'll be fun. We'll get some movies to look forward to. And then we'll do our To Be Originals episode. So get out there, watch The Raid slash Muru, or watch Slay. Which Slay, I think also we're getting into the Halloween season. This is
Yeah.
a little bit of a fun horror type of thing. I think that'll be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, these will be fun. I hope people join us on them. They're easily accessible. If you've never used Tubi before, you do have to sit through some ads, but you know what? It's not the worth. I mean, you're watching Tubi originals, so like it's not like you're watching The Wolf House and you're getting cut in the middle, you know?
Yeah, it's free, it's easily accessible, and that's those are some positives of it. But yeah, and then just a little on the horizon after our To Be Originals episode, we're gonna do one battle after another. So that'll be nice. That'll I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'll be a lot of fun. Also, I just want to shout out to people on Reddit who were giving some suggestions for movies similar to The Wolf House on some posts that we put out there.
Oh,
Um,
great.
so, you know, if you aren't on our Reddit, make sure you jump into there and all of our other social media, but you guys know where to find those by now. Go to our letterbox. That's the easiest place to find all of our links to everything. And in the meantime,
Yeah. Go to r/mind your movies.
yeah.
And don't forget to mind your movies.